Ryback Show starts now.
Welcome to the Ryback Show Live. I am the big guy, Ryback. Appreciate everyone joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, streaming live on Instagram and TikTok, the big guy, RYBACK20. Greatly appreciated. About to hit 3 million very, very soon on TikTok. Despite them hiding my post where I go stupid, they're hiding two more that were. It is quite frustrating, but that is for me to worry about and not you. Streaming here live on Ryback TV. Your questions are answered. Your super chats are brought up on the screen. Health, fitness, supplementation, pro wrestling, life, anything and everything in between. The ebb and flow of the show goes where your questions go, ladies and gentlemen. Streaming on Twitch at Ryback Rules and Twitter at Ryback. Available on all podcast platforms as well for your listening pleasure. If you don't feel like tuning in or you missed a live show, swing on over to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, and download and subscribe to the Ryback Show. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. If you have a moment to swing over there and leave a nice review, please go ahead and do that. It is always greatly appreciated by yours truly. This show is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial or sweeteners like 99.9% of those other guys. Vegan friendly, not like those other guys. So all people could use the supplements on that for men and women. Available on feedmemore.com. You can save 20% with discount code RYBACKSHOW20. That's RYBACKSHOW20 at the end of the checkout process. You get 20%. Sign up for my massive savings program. The email and text, you can get 25% off. That's right, folks, 25% right here, right now, just for signing up for my one message a week, my message of positivity or a story or a message of inspiration. Some sort of quote or what that means to me, maybe a health tip, maybe a fitness tip. You never know what you're going to get, but what you are going to get each and every week is a massive discount not made available anywhere else for our loyal, over 80% returning customers each and every month for Feed Me More Nutrition on feedmemore.com. All right, what's going on, guys? What a day. A little extra pep in my step today. And just woke up at 5 a.m., 4:55 to be exact. If we're keeping track of the exact time that I ripped off my sleep apnea mask and said, "Wake up, it's feeding time," but because I'm sure that's how some people think that I wake up. I do take off the sleep apnea machine, and I give my dogs kisses, and then I usually go and take a good piss. Depends on, sometimes I wake up in the night. Depends on how much water and Zevia I have. I have a Zevia or a carbonated water with a big bottle of water before bed. So I'm like the kid in Home Alone. The little kid that drinks the Pepsi and just, now I don't wet the bed. I'm not like him in that sense, in the sense that I got to piss because I know someone's going to right back, pisses the bed. But yeah, and feeling good. Great day. A lot to talk about today. A lot of news, a lot of WWE news. I'm sure we're going to get around to those questions. I've labeled this show WWE Sex Scandal with everything going on, which is the least of their problems. As big as the problems those are, there's a lot more with all of that, and we will dive deep into all of that. And anyone that wants to go ahead and leave their apologies in the comments for the big guy Ryback speaking up and having the courage to tell the truth from day one and being restricted and all this garbage, and everybody, those trash marks that were sitting there and me. And I tried to tell you. And the reason why more people don't is because they're afraid to get blackballed from it or thinking that they'll never be able to go back. But the truth is, you can always go back. You can always go back, and I'm going to win every single way, and so much more is going to come out. And so it's a beautiful day, and I just sit back and I rejoice, and I let karma hand out its fate like only it can do. All right, let's move into these questions here. Super chats are contributed to the big guy's shoulder massage money and Starbucks. I should keep track of them. Like, I don't even know. We've had some pretty big days on the super chats. I don't know if we're starting off hot. $10 super chat right up from the start. Tyler Shagru again in the house. Thank you, Tyler. Good afternoon. Just two questions. LOL. One, your feud with Mark was great. What's it like to feel his strength personally? And two, what did you enjoy more, being a face or being a heel? Yeah, so that first guy, I could care less. We don't talk about him on this show. He's nothing in my life, and he will never be anything in my life. And we'll talk more about not him, but another guy and he was paid to say things, and he's done with me forever. Done. And like I said, I challenged him to try to rip my flesh off, like he said, and I welcome that encounter, and I look forward to it. I look forward to him attempting to try that, because he needs to be a man and back up his words of what he said. And we'll leave that at that. And two, what did you enjoy being face or being a heel? I enjoyed both. I will say I enjoy being a babyface more, and enjoy that in the sense of I always loved that main event run, going on last, being one of the last guys to leave the building, and seeing all the fans out there waiting to meet me and signing autographs for him and doing pictures after the show. Even though I had a 3-5 hour drive, and I'm not a saint any means, I always stopped and talked to people. And unless there were a few occasions where I had really long drives and I had to go do media, and I would say hi to everybody and tell them that I had a long drive and I didn't have time to do autographs and pictures for everyone. And usually most people were very understanding of all that. But I would at least go over there and literally go through and shake their hand and say hi and explain that to them, so that they didn't think but most of the time I would hang out for quite a bit. And I always enjoyed that. And I thrive off of positivity and getting cheered. I would rather, don't get me wrong, it's super fun to get booed, and I love trolling people on that end, and I still get my fix of it still, right? But as far as the energy, I thrive off of the positive energy in the arena and people in general. And I'm one of these people that respond. I'm a hyper responder to positive energy. And that's why the whole entrance with the energy and feeding off the energy and injecting it into my body, that was what the whole babyface Ryback character is based around energy. And that's why I didn't do that entrance as a heel, because the heel Ryback is not based off of that energy. That's a negative energy. And while it's fun to play that role, I think just with me, how I am in real life, I think even acting, I think you have to be so careful in anything that you do, because energy is energy regardless, right? And that's why I've had to work so hard to stay ultra positive, even with all this BS WWE stuff. And I have to get in the trenches and get a little negative at times, because I'm in the fight with the devil. And this is what I try to get people to understand. And I've won everything, and I'm going to win. We're seeing what's transpiring with this. But I do what I need to do, and I'm back, and I'm in that positive mindset. And that is the one thing I think I've had so much practice at, in which a lot of that negative portion will never understand that or anything. But like this would have torn apart the majority of human beings or wrestlers, I believe. And I've been able to thrive off of it. And because I have such an understanding of myself and positive and negative energy with that. And I think too, a big thing a lot of people make the mistake about is thinking that if you're a positive person, you can never be negative. Can it be any further from the truth? It's just the ability to shift out of that negative into the positive as quickly as possible, And then sometimes you have people too, all they want to see is negative. They don't want to see the 99.9% positive, right? With that. I enjoy being a baby face with that. And don't get me, but I think in small doses, I could have a lot of fun sinking my teeth into being a heel. I think I could go in and do a 3-month program with Wardlow and be the biggest heel in the business like that. I also think I could come back under the right circumstances and be the biggest babyface in the business with all things. I think it just depends on what you're trying to target, what you're trying to do. I think going the heel route with that is playing to a small portion of people, whereas you got to look at the guy who's the most followed wrestler on TikTok right now. Maybe we should capitalize that in the babyface role. But that depends on what you go in for and what you're trying to accomplish or achieve. You can go, hey, I can go do good business with this guy and help get this guy to a whole other level, and then make myself whole again, and then be the big, huge baby face that I know that I am. There's a million ways to do things with all of that, but it's all timing and what you want to do and what a company wants to do, and it has to all align on all of that. Let's see here. And we're going to get in. Are you someone says, are you the type of person that would be able to look at the WWE product and write a 1 to 2 year plan about preferred feuds in what you'd like storylines to be, in what you'd like to accomplish. I think that depends. Are you talking about me personally, personal goals, or talking about an entire company, entire roster? I think that it's got to clarify that. And what we're gonna go ahead and we'll jump right into it with everything. And for everyone that's not aware of Tyler Sugar again for the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for the answers. Have a great day, big guy. You too, buddy. And I always appreciate the support here on the Ryback Show. Vince McMahon, it was on Wednesday. I think it was the Wall Street Journal dropped the news that Vince McMahon in WWE being investigated in what is being labeled, I guess, the WWE sex scandal or some, where essentially Vince was sleeping with, I believe they said, was she a paralegal or somebody that was working there, a woman that was working in WWE, and she'd gone from Vince getting passed down to Johnny. I don't know. I've seen speculation and people, and I posted a picture of Vince and Johnny with the tag team belts. Take that how you will. There's some stories floating around on different scenarios as well, which is whatever, things happen with people. But when you're a publicly traded company and there's a history of abuse and sexual scandals in this company. Everyone that's in this business knows this, right? And I think a lot of us, I've talked, a lot of people have messaged me where everyone's just like, I can't believe it's taken this long for stuff to finally, and I just think it's karma is finally, it's been a culmination of things leading up to all of this. But there's some issues because they are notorious for getting people to sign non-disparagement agreements, NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, where they'll come to terms on the shady things that happen. And here, take some your hush money and go away forever. And that has happened. And what they are finding is there's quite a bit of this. And there's stuff that I have that I've not released. There's stuff, and I'll give you guys. There's a Caitlyn and Triple H story out there. There's a John Cena and Alex Riley story out there. And if the board investigates it, they're going to find some stuff. They're going to find a lot of stuff. And there's a lot more than just that. There's a lot of top WWE executives with a lot of diva stories. And that's why I encourage the divas to get out there and speak up. Because I know there's a lot of them that have stories and they got kicked out of the business. They got negative stuff put out on them. And, unfortunately, one of them's no longer here with Ashley Massaro. And I always knew and heard from inside and from people in the company that what she was saying had happened. And I think it's a horrific thing. And I wasn't there for it. So I never got too heavily involved. But knowing what I know and just knowing how they cover up things, I don't doubt her for 1 second. And that's enough to destroy. And it did. And eventually took her life. Right. So I think this is the beginning of the floodgates being opened. And I'll tell you, an innocent man does not step down as CEO. And so you have to understand too what's going on. They're trying to ease the blow of all of this because Vince has said he's going to cooperate with whatever they decide. Now, is it possible that some sort of shady shenanigans goes on and he survives all of this? Always possible with him, right? But I think he knows the writing is on the wall, and now there are people looking into this that he's never wanted looking into this, and they're finding stuff right away. And the more every day that goes by, they're going to uncover more, and they're going to uncover more, and they're going to uncover more with all of this. And it's not going to be pretty. A man who is innocent, who has done no wrong, even if he was wrong in this particular situation, he would fight and he would stand up for his company and his organization if he believed that he was truly going to be found innocent and they weren't going to find more. He has stepped down, and in an emergency situation, they had put Stephanie in that role because he knows there's going to be so much more that comes out. And what's going to happen is they're going to do this in pieces. There's going to be key people in WWE that have been in the know, and they're already looking into this from everything I understand. And I saw this coming right when I saw what was going on. The key people in WWE are going to be removed from their positions in pieces. And they're going to try to do this so it's not a sudden change, so the stock doesn't get royally screwed, right? So it's going to be in pieces, so that too, finally, when the investigation is done, these things have been the company's been going, everything's fine. You can see the company's still able to profit and do this and that, right? And so it's just, I'm going to take, though, a sit back and wait approach to see. But that is my opinion on what I think is going to happen. It's probably going to be Laurinaitis is probably going to be gone. Pritchard's probably going to be gone. And nothing, I always like Bruce Pritchard. I always like Johnny, even though it's the worst position in the world with that. But they're two, Johnny's got caught in all of this now, right? And I don't know if he's still married to the Bella's sister's mom, but last I heard he was, with all of this. And people do things all the time. But when you're a publicly traded company, and there's things, what this is going to uncover is everything I've told you guys and talked about with them on how evil this corporation is, on how they destroy people's lives. And I think, and that's why I've been public, they need to look into their relationships with all the social media companies, and they're going to find this company's been restricting me for 6 years. This isn't me making this up. This is me telling you guys the truth of what is going on. And it's for me, I have to be even more proactive on all this. And I want all of you to be proactive on all this and make as much noise as humanly possible, because this is gonna implement the change so that it's not better for the shareholders, by the way, better for the wrestlers, all the people that have passed away that are all probably a part of this, looking down on this, karma smiling, right? This, all the wrestlers that died young, all the people that they turned their backs on. All your favorites. Your favorites are the logo. The logo is not the logo. The logo is the wrestlers. But they have confused so many of you and gotten you to fall in love with that logo. You are in love with the talent and the wrestlers, and you never forget that. And you don't turn your back on those people, because the wrestlers are the ones responsible for your entertainment. And granted, that is the organization, the promotion that gives them a platform. But wrestling will always exist without that company, and you're going to see this. But promotions do not exist without wrestlers and without the talent on all of this. So there's going to be this is going to probably be really ugly for them, knowing what I know already, and knowing what I just said. I touched on a couple things. They've covered up so much over so many years, and I'll tell you guys too. I put out a tweet on this. They on their settlement that they reached out for, wanted me to sign an NDA when we wanted them to sign the NDA back. And then they revised it, and we've been going back and forth on the settlement. They took the NDA out randomly. I even said to my attorney, I go, why would they take that out when I was agreeing to it, as long as they agreed to it? And he goes, I don't know. He goes, I'm kind of, but they want it to be a confidential agreement still. So they still have, so if we come to terms, I can't discuss what those terms are once that comes to a conclusion. And I'm more than fine with that, right? But as far as I go, why would they take out the NDA? And now it makes sense, because they're being looked into for all their NDAs. And I'm sure they don't want them looking into everything they've done with me. So they're trying to hide that. And that's why I said that publicly. I go, no, you guys should probably look into the things that they're doing to me and why I posted those social media images. Because do you think Vince McMahon, do you think he goes, take his social media? We need this guy. We can't have him talking. What do you think they're going to be told no, then go, oh, okay? Or do you think he's going to do whatever he can to silence me? Logical, common sense question. They're going to do whatever they can to silence me, and they've tried their best, and it's been difficult. And I've still stayed afloat despite all this BS and games going on. And that's just one little thing in the grand scheme. But it's gonna open up the floodgates to how they treat individuals, and it's gonna be bad. And I think eventually they're gonna be forced to sell the company to whoever, to Disney or to Fox or to Comcast, whoever it may be. I think they eventually do a sale, and I think there's going to be they're going to keep certain people, and I think other people are going to be completely gone. And I will say this, as much as I've had my issues with him, and he is much wrong as he has done, Pat Buck, and he's a very intelligent guy when it comes to wrestling. I now know, when I look at why Pat Buck left WWE 2 or 3 months ago, randomly after WrestleMania, I didn't really understand why he would leave, and then he went to AEW, right? And I do know the schedule and things, but I didn't understand. I go, that was an odd move. Those allegations had come out when he left, and he was aware of that, and I think he distanced himself as far. And he's a very smart guy on this, because I think the people that stay there now, everybody, the deeper this investigation goes, the more likely it is anybody who hasn't been hired just recently is going to be subject to being removed, and they're going to have a very, very bad label on them as far as in the wrestling because these are people in office positions knowing the bad the company is doing, but chose to never speak up. And they're in a tough position. That's why I said why having the courage to speak up and why so many people don't. You see what they've done on me and the attacks with all the lies and the BS. These people know that, which is why a lot of them don't say anything and they just fall in line with all of this, right? But this is why I learned how to make my own money outside of wrestling so that I could stay true and speak honestly and come at this place that tried to destroy my life. And I'm not backing down. And you're going to see I'm going to win everything. And it's going to be the truth is going to win. And it is on. And you guys are being made aware of it publicly. And here we are. But he's, I believe he's going to be on TV. I saw tonight in character. Like how they mentioned that. And I think this is, like I said, an innocent man doesn't step down. Even if he's booking, this is all temporary. And this is all on the fly adjustments. And eventually they're going to have to make these changes the deeper this investigation goes. All according to plan, Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, the thing with Jeff being back. And there's rumors of Nick Khan being the one leaking out everything, and whatever's going on is going on. That's the way you do enough wrong to enough people. And I've heard from everyone that I know that's there. They love Nick Khan, and I go, how great would it be if Nick Khan is just a big, huge wrestling fan, this really super smart guy, and he tricked all of them into getting in, and so he could wipe them all out and make WWE the great company that it is and the great company for wrestlers and right all the wrongs. I think it's a beautiful story, and I want to believe that to be the case, but I don't know. I haven't met him, and I'm not there. Memer Kid bruh says, thank you for the super chat. Says, are you coming back to the WWE? Again, right now, my attorney, I believe, is just, we just talked this morning. He is sending over the revised settlement back to them now. Beautiful timing. And the trial is underway with my trademark. And that has about 5 or 6 months to completion. I am not pausing it. I am not extending it anymore. I am going through with it. And the pressure will be on them to meet my terms on the settlement. And I've made that very clear. I am not budging on my terms on specific things. We have come to an agreement on other things on there. And outside, until they meet me on my terms on the things I'm not budging on, everything's going through. And it's just business as usual for me on everything. And then once that's done, we can sit and see. Now if all this is over with and Vince is gone and there's new management in place and trust can be built, more than open to it. But that settlement has to be taken care of. The wrongs of the past have to be made right before I will ever discuss going back there. Let's see here. Yeah, the storylines have gone to crap in WWE. Very disappointing. Being a fan since 2006, I can't agree with their choices. It's pretty hard to be creative when you've got a lot of this stuff going on behind the scenes too, right? Not an easy thing. I did hear Sasha Banks has possibly been let go, and I say let go. She left. So, and again, for people, it's like I walked out. My contract expired. I was never released. They put out lies. Even though they never said it was put out that my contract had expired, but I think they put out some things that maybe they didn't re-sign me. I was like, how can you re-sign me when I walked out on your multi-million-dollar contract 6 months prior? I never signed it and gave it back to you. That was the diff. Like, it just blows my mind. So Sasha's never been released. Sasha released them, just so everyone. She walked out on them. Naomi walked out on them, and they'd reached their boiling point onto that. And every talent has that, and I commend them. And I was like, that board has to look at that. How many top people, big names have walked out? Wade Barrett left. CM Punk left. I left. Sasha, Naomi. Who else has walked out and that left on under their own accord? But there's been a number of people that were bringing them money that walked out that they got to look at and go, that is a culture issue and things need to be improved. Tyler back with another super chat. Sorry, just remembered a question I wanted to ask. How would the Ryback character have played out of the Attitude or Ruthless Aggression era? Tyler, I honestly don't give any thought to that stuff as far as how can, like, it's just wasted time as far as my opinion. Like, I wonder how I would have been booked in the Attitude era. I think Ryback could have thrived in the Attitude era. I think I would have been one of the guys that easily could be plugged into any era of professional wrestling and had massive success. You know, I think today, if you look at like a lot of the smaller guys, I don't think they destroyed and eaten up in those eras. They just would not have, because it wasn't, not even, just not even, they would have not been anything other than enhancement talent, most likely. And that's just the way that it is, because it was, but they were pushing different things at that time, and different people were in charge, and the business changed a little bit. And not saying that that's right or wrong, but that's based off of, it would have been very difficult with that. Whereas I think other people, and I think like myself, I think I would have success in any era with that personally. I do also want to point out to you guys, because there was an individual in Booker T before, and he had some comments to make about stuff, right? About, in particular, with me. And I was really interested to see what his approach was going to be with everything going on with Vince and WWE with all of this. And I think it's very important to point this out. And I'm not going to, because I love Stevie Ray. And so I'm going to keep my cool. But I want you to just to look at this. I go, the guy clearly admits he's team WWE. He gets a paycheck from WWE. There's this huge major story. And what does he do that involves his boss, who he gets a paycheck from, and the WWE? And he goes, oh, I don't want to touch on this unless I have all the information, right? How he's so politically correct on this one issue. But he admits he's team WWE. He's collecting a paycheck. He admits this. And I just want you to listen. Go and watch and listen into that, right? And then I want you to go, but he's able to, on other things that are me with my issues with WWE that he knows nothing about. He does not have enough information. He's so strongly opinionated in favor of them and says such bad things, right? And that's all I'm going to point out. And I tell you this because it's I see it and I know what's going on. And he does it on a lot of other issues. And he was like, you got to be careful, man. When you're talking about stuff you don't know nothing about, you got to be careful, because this is pretty personal to other people with that, right? So that's just the one thing I'm going to point out. And that you, as listeners, you need to let that person know, if you listen to that show, say, hey, yo, man, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate you being dishonest on other things, or being so strongly opinionated on things that you don't know everything about, right? Because he never called me. He never texted me to get more information before he went out with his to come. You know what I mean? Because he's home team WWE, AKA he collects a paycheck from Vince. So he's Vince's bitch. And he comes out and says it pretty clearly if you go listen. So I just want to point that out as well. Sucker. I'd say that to your face. We've got a super chat. Alan Samuelson. Thank you, buddy. After you left, I stopped watching wrestling. Thank you very much, buddy, and hopefully able to return in some capacity at some point in time. Trader Joe says, when people speak as passionately about something like you do, they're usually telling the truth. I agree with you, and it's because I'm the one experiencing it, and I know the truth, and you try to raise awareness and get other people to understand, and some do and some don't, right? But if you've noticed, I've never changed. Not once have I changed in any of this, because I know what the story is and I know what the truth is. You've never seen me flip-flop on this stuff, right? You've seen me continue, because I'm living it each and every single day. And the people that are speaking about it don't know anything. So they're just giving their opinions on what they want to believe, or who they want to think somebody is as a character or as a person. And, I'm living it. So it's a little different. Trader Joe says it's a shame if anyone thought you were lying before. Yeah, I've got people tweeting me apologies already on that, and getting DMs on the other saying we're sorry, and I'm just deleting. I don't care. That's why I put out the tweet that I put out. A lot of people are just going to change their argument. Some are going to come around on any of it, and it's like even after this is done and I win my trademark, or we settle and I win the trademark and we reach a settlement, there's going to come back in some capacity wherever I go. People are still going to say other things. They're going to say, oh, well, you injure people. No, that was all lies too. You can keep holding on to whatever you want to hold on to. I'm going to continue to sit there and be honest and be real, right? And by no means perfect. And if I do mess up, I make fun of myself more than anyone on things, right? But what I don't allow is I don't allow nobodies to disrespect me. And that's why they get blocked, because people that are negative and disrespectful, I have no time for. Let's see here. Exactly, on Booker. Yep, WWE. Booker's WWE all the way. And that was, I told you guys that from the beginning, and I've been quiet on that one because I quiet on that one because Stevie, and I like Stevie Ray a lot, and he's a very good guy, and I don't want to ever get into this, and I think that's one of the reasons they want. I think they at times with the different things to try to get me to come at wrestlers. The win for me is not getting in arguments with other wrestlers. What I'm trying to do is make things better for everyone and for myself with this, but this is going to help all wrestlers, the things that I am doing and the things I've spoken up on, right, with that. Whereas people like that are collecting paychecks, not making things better for anyone. And that's where the difference between that kind of person and me with that. And that's straight up with that. Let's see. Yeah, Dan O'Brien left, John Moxley, Chris Jericho, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. More names right there. Left to another. Those are all huge names I left out. Thank you. Which is very telling. And you just look at all the names over the years, and it is a lot. It is a lot. And those guys left, and they're a little more politically correct, because they I don't think. And two, people that have, I've too, with everything going on, and I had to put the focus on my health, and God, I would love to have a family and meet the right person. I've had to be so disciplined and focused and to get my health back, and I look at it though, everything happens for a reason with that. But I've been very good with my money. I don't have a family of 4 or 5 or 6 to take care of, even though I take care of my mother, lives in the apartment suite attached to the house, but I'm not, and Sophie has been with her disc disease has been a lot with, and so I do have a family in that sense, but like not having kids yet, or a wife or a girlfriend, with like the bills I'm able to keep under control because, and I've created all this other cash flow, so I'm able to be much more independent. Whereas somebody that has 3 or 4 kids and a wife, right, their decision making is a little different, and so I understand that, and that's why I try not to get upset when other people don't speak up, because I do understand it with that. And it's all about power and control. And I've been very good at keeping that for myself so that I could stay true to finishing all this and whatnot. But man, I just look forward for wrestling in general. I think Vince, we need to get rid of him. We need him gone for good. And I think they need to clean house of some names and people. And I think I think they need to implement a better culture in taking care of wrestlers. And I want to be a part of that at some point in time. I don't want to. I've fought this fight against this evil, and I think that evil, now is the time this evil is going to be gone. You guys are going to see it firsthand, and you're going to see the stuff that gets fed out, and you can make your own decisions. I already know, and I'm hoping the stuff comes out that can come out, and you're going to see. And then hopefully, though, the business changes for the wrestlers, and we can allow people to be the stars that they are, and not crush people, not punish people for getting over, and the fans are going to win in that process as well. And I think it's possible if Vince and company. I think the stock can reach all-time highs with Vince gone. I really do. And with the right people with that machine that they have, because we'll be able to allow stars to be as big as possible. I think you're going to see more wrestlers being able to take time off and do big projects and do movies, where Vince has put the kibosh on so many of these things that's controlled the talent. I think you're just going to see the business I think the business can reach new heights without Vince McMahon. And I think people are gonna really see how damaging this man was to the business, even though he created a profitable business in a lot of deceiving ways and not paying the talent accordingly. But with the right person in charge, this can all be so much bigger with it, so much bigger. And casting the right people in the right role. Do you know how big that is? Casting the right people in the right roles. A movie, like I said, if you put a little person in the role of Terminator, that movie does not draw and make nowhere near the amount of money. It might make money still, but nowhere near as with Arnold. So can you imagine, is the Terminator, can you imagine if they get this right with more talents and you get somebody where you go, we need to make as many big megastars as possible. Even if they're only there for 3 to 5 years, who cares? This business, you can literally make the people, if you cast the right people in the right roles, you're never going to not have stars. So, and people are going to be loyal to you in the business, the culture, and the environment's going to be more positive. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm personally, I feel a sense of relief today seeing what I'm seeing, and it's still going to wait. And there's a lot that needs to be done. And right now, and again, like Stephanie's in that position, but who's to say in 2 or 3 months or however long this investigation, a month, whatever, that all new people aren't in place, because Stephanie and all these people are aware of, they're going to find that they are all connected to the problems as well, unfortunately. And not to say that they're the ones that caused them, but they're and some of them they are, but you're going to see. Super chat, William Schaefer, Ryback, you rock. What goes around comes around. How would you deal with people who judge you, like people saying you should be married by now? I just live my life. That's not who's the people that say that are usually the most miserable people who married the wrong person, and they're unhappy and are caught up in that whole scam, right? I don't give no thought to that. They're nobodies in my life. I just look at, well, what am I doing? I know exactly why I've made the choices I've made and what I'm doing in my life. And it's human nature. People are going to judge. The key is you only, like, and this is what I was saying before, the majority of people in our lives are nobodies. All we need to care about are the people that we consider somebodies in our life. And those are the people that we choose to respect and to listen to their opinions. Everyone else, block and smash. Don't matter. People could say what I don't have no control what those people say. All I have control over is what I do with my life each and every day, and they don't matter to me. Literally don't matter one bit. Who cares? Who cares what Steven, Sarah, Jeffrey, Mark, and little Queen Booker say over there? I don't care. They're nobodies. Let's see. Hello. Ryback, how old do I have to be to use creatine? Well, if you eat meat and things of that nature, you're getting creatine already with that. As far as taking a creatine supplement or a Feed Me More Nutrition 10 count creatine, I think anything over 16. I think I started using creatine right around that age in high school for football. And the other players were using it because it does help with strength and explosiveness significantly. And it's something like I love it. It's a natural supplement on that. So I think there's nothing wrong with starting it at that age, and it depending on what your diet is and whatnot. Taking a look here. Would I ever become a wrestling agent? That's not even something I've never given it any thought to. I would say not certainly not for WWE, and especially under the current regime. You got to understand. I have so much time dedicated to my business and what I'm doing. I don't need to be involved in wrestling in that capacity. I just like wrestling. I like the adrenaline. I enjoy doing it. I don't necessarily enjoy certain aspects of the business, and if it was up to me, I would be at the arena as little as possible. I would want to know my match, come in and do my match and leave. And go live my life and be happy. That to me, and don't get me wrong, there's times hang out and I get along with everybody. I laugh, but like I don't like big masses of people. I don't like big groups of people. I don't like the cliques. I don't like the BS and the politics and the lies and all the fakeness of some people. I don't appreciate it, and I don't tolerate it with it. So I just kind of just keep to myself. I get along with pretty much everybody, but I don't like getting involved in the gossip and the games. And I want to know what role I'm playing, go execute my role, leave, and enjoy life. Tony the Wolf says, I always knew you were right all along, man. You always stood by the truth and always showed evidence on a daily basis. And I never doubted you. Truth hurts. Thank you very much, buddy. And I greatly appreciate the people that have been a lot of people coming forward and saying stuff like that. And, I just 6 years of dealing with, a lot of hate and negativity, fake lies, articles being put out on you saying that you're really mean to fans at meet and greets when promoters tell you you're one of the best they've ever had, if not the best. It's stupid. And like things to damage your brand, and people read this stuff and all these other things, and you're just like, and say you hurt people, right? And it's just like, that's not the case, right? And it's just, but I knew the truth. So the goal for me in all of this was block it and keep, I know the truth. Do not let their lies become my truth. I already know the truth. So I had to do everything in my power to not let other people, the lies that they believed, become my reality. And I never have. And that's why I'm very quick to block the thing. And I just keep moving forward because I know, and I'm not interested in debating, because I know that's just wasting my time of what I need to be working on right now with people that are just going to change their argument most likely anyways to something else at some point in time. Good question. Hey, Ryback, do you think BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, are useful for bodybuilding? Because some say it's not making much of a difference. Need to hear from you. I used to not take them, and then I started taking them. I think they're very beneficial for multiple, depending on what you're using them for. I think they could be very, very beneficial, specifically when limiting your carbohydrates or your calories. I think they could be great a couple times a day in our Finish It branched chain amino acids, and it's an electrolyte matrix as well with that, especially when you could be electrolyte deprived with that. I think they're great for sweet tooth cravings and to keeping you satiated and your appetite under control a couple times a day, when specifically under calorie restriction. I think they're great to drink. And I've been doing this. I'm taking a break from the Pumplex City. I always kind of cycle off my supplements for a period. And I've just been doing the BCAAs with the creatine and my ribose for my intro workout as I'm working out. And I do 2 scoops of the Finish It BCAAs. And I do 2 scoops of 10 count creatine and that has the glycer pump in there, which is great for the pump while working out. And then I do the ribose as well, which is great for aerobic capacity and for my conditioning and cardio, and a little extra ATP production with that. So I do find them beneficial with that. Now, if you're looking at it, like, here's the other thing, a lot of bodybuilders too, you're dealing with people that are abusing performance enhancing drugs, and they think most supplements don't work. These people are so out of touch with reality, and supplements absolutely work. Now, if you're going to say, are supplements going to make you look like a pro bodybuilder on stage? No. But are supplements going to work better than nothing? Yes. And it's like, and that's most people, though, when you're health oriented and want to look, you could be shredded, you could look amazing, but you're never going to have those look like a pro bodybuilder on stage taking supplements with that. You can look very, very good on that, but it's an entirely different look, because you got these people that are taking mega dosing things, and that's why they all dropped dead at a very young age, pretty much all of them. And if not, they hit that time when they hit those health complications at a little later point. So I think they're very beneficial with them. But I don't think that's like, our BCAA is going to pack on, 10, 15 pounds of muscle on you. I don't think that that's what they were ever created for. with that. I think they more so what I mentioned on that, and they can help preserve muscle. I think they're great for muscle soreness after a workout or sipping them during your workout. I think they're beneficial in that capacity. And I have found success with those on that. I don't ever get sore after working out, and I do believe those contribute to that with that. And you can get all your BCAAs through a well-balanced diet. But again, I think it's just good. It's an extra measure. It's an extra step. And again, it's something you have those a couple times a day, right? In between meals when you're dieting, or even if you're not, and it's better than drinking that than drinking a regular soda pop or something, or eating another meal, right? It's just, you should look at it that way, whereas they're not a waste. And that, I just think it depends on what people are arguing for with them. William Schaefer, brother, I could have swore I didn't. I thought this was the Chris Benoit guy from the other day with a joke question, and I clicked on it. I go, oh man, I just saw it in the small thing. I thought it says, you go, silly question, how does fisting work? But it's how does fasting work? And I was just like, Jesus. Let me dial up Phoenix for you. I'm kidding. The fasting, it depends. There's intermittent fasting and prolonged fasting. On that, intermittent fasting is when you do a period of like 15, 16 hours, 12 hours, where you go to bed at night, you don't eat, right? Anything, you wake up, you don't eat for a period of time. And then so the total amount of time that you're not eating is maybe 16 hours. And then you eat your food in a small window. You allow yourself whatever your daily caloric intake is, which you can get from going to my BMR calculator on feedmemore.com and type in all your info, and it'll tell you how many calories you're supposed to have a day. And it says, hey, William, you're supposed to have 2,500 calories to maintain your current body weight. And that's what you want to do. So you make sure that you consume those 2,500 calories in a 4 or 5, 6 hour window. Whatever it is, you want to keep that window in that you could get all of your food and nutrients in. And then you go back to fasting. Intermittent fasting is very beneficial to people that have eating disorders and that tend to eat really bad at different times or overeat throughout the day. And it can really help people lose weight by getting their calories under control. And the longer that you do this, it actually helps regulate your blood sugar levels, and where that helps control your cravings. And because a lot of people, they can't even fathom fasting because their blood sugar is so out of control. They're eating so much processed foods. And I know this from being younger and eating some junk more often. And I remember my cravings used to be really out of control when I was younger for wanting sugar and things. So, and now I don't have them. It's because I do a 24-hour fast once a week, which is more of a prolonged fast. And they found that for me, and how much I need to eat during the day, that is, I can get all the health benefits from fasting one day a week with that. And I still, every day is, there's like a 10-hour fast every day for me from the time I eat my last meal to the time I eat my first meal with that, but it's not as long as it was. And I can get all my calories in for the day to maintain 285, 90 pounds for the majority of the year, right? With that. And then I'll push it. I try to once a year, twice a year, do the prolonged fast of 48 to 72 hours, which is a lot more difficult on that. And that, again, fat loss, though, with that, you lose a good amount of water weight with that. It's a great way, autophagy, where your cells essentially eat themselves and heal, and where you repair at a cellular level. And there's people that can explain this so much better than me, like Thomas DeLauer, who's a fasting expert, and Dr. Berg has a lot of good fasting videos, and they preach some different things on things, and there's some differences and things that I don't do that they do. I think it's just finding the stuff that you could learn and apply it into how you think it's going to fit into your life best. And but I always advise people to read up on it and watch. Those are some really good people to watch their videos, and you're gonna start getting an idea, and then you can decide if you want to do intermittent fasting or do more of like, hey, I'm going to do a prolonged fast. You can do a 24-hour fast a couple times a week very safely with that. And as long as you make sure that you're getting your calories on those other days, that's always the key. You don't want to skimp on your calories, because that's when you get into slowing your metabolism. But if you're consuming your calories, brother, it's such a beautiful thing, and it really, really does a lot of good. Tyler Sugaru back with that 5. Tyler, man, dropping those dollars on the super chats again today. Watched your match with Khali the other day from 2012, and just wondering what it felt like to march around the ring with him on your shoulders. I don't believe I wrestled. That had to have been in 2013 or 14, if I'm not mistaken. Because the one where I marched around the ring with him, I think I marched around the ring with him twice because Vince wanted to rib Khali because he didn't like being picked up. And so he wanted me to take as long as possible before I shell shocked him. True story. And but I loved wrestling the Great Khali. He was a lot of fun. And that was a cool little period where I was getting some good heat. And they would like build me up to put over somebody. But I was used on everything. I was on every pay-per-view and TV show pretty much. And from the time I was there till the time I left, I was on pretty much everything. So that is a lot more than most people can ever say who get stuck in catering all the time. And, you know, I was used on everything always. So I was always cool with that. Khali, though, was always a lot of fun. And I liked wrestling the Giants because you get a great reaction when you pick them up. I do believe I always had that hungry mindset, even from a young age. I've always just worked really, 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 really obsessively hard on things that I want to do or be good at. And I do believe I fell out of touch with that after I got into wrestling, and with Deep South Wrestling, and I love Bill DeMott, but it was really negative. It was a really negative experience for me. That where I kind of fell into a little bit of I doubted myself for the first time ever. This negativity had been instilled inside of my mind, which is my fault for letting it happen. Even though some people would say it wasn't your fault, but whatever, I take accountability on that. And I was through that and then discovering again the secret in the book, just on positive mindset. And I go, what happened to me? That's how did I get so negative all the time? And it was, I'm telling you, I was rehired by WWE in 3 or 5 months. It was something ridiculous. Once I got my mind back, and it's like that been things. And that's one of the things too. And I'll tell you with that, that's one of the reasons, and Vince and them are aware of all this. And that's one of the reasons why they have tried to break me on that mindset, trying to think that they have control over something they don't. And this is why I'm pretty passionate about this, because they knew that, oh, you believe in positive mindset. We thrive off of negativity and evil. We are going to crush your spirit with hate and negativity, and which is what they've tried to do to me. And they have failed miserably. And that hate has eaten them up, and it is going to destroy them. And that's the truth. I think, did I inherit my work ethic from one of my parents? I think my dad has always been a very hardworking, blue collar. He was a bartender his whole life, just hardworking guy. And he's retired now. And my mom always had a very a creative mind, I feel, and maybe more of a dreamer, if you will. And so I think I've got the ultimate powers of being able to dream and envision, but have that work ethic to back it up between my parents, but also understanding the ask, believe, feel, work, receive mindset of ask what you want, believe what you want, but feel. Feeling is one of the things that I've really had to work on in this time away from WWE, on feeling the result that I want and imagining it and playing it out and feeling it in real time, and like being able to, and I've done this, a lot of practice on this. And that to me has really, really helped on that feeling part of believing and receiving. Ask, believe, feel, work, receive. There's 5 of them, because the secret is ask, believe, receive. You've got to have the feel and the work part in there that they are missing out. I always understood that from the book still, but it's 2 big things that a lot of people don't make the connection on. Ask, believe, feel, work, receive on that. What else do we got going on? Hello from the Middle East. Good to see all of you. What do we got going on TikTok today? Have I tried a 7-day fast? Somebody asked on TikTok. I have not. I've seen people that are able to do it. 3 days, 72 hours is my personal record, in which I've always said I would like to try to break that with a 4-day fast, but it is very difficult. But do I think I could do it? I do believe I could do it under the right circumstances. But I tell you, you go through a lot of emotions when you take food out of the picture, and you're allowed to do water. You could do like the Zevias, but when you're without food for days, you get like, I'll get anxiety, like I'll go through like the euphoric feelings and then being really really anxious, and like you need to be able to keep your time, and when you're by yourself too, and then you're around food, and it's just that's why people go out in the middle of nowhere when they do this, to keep themselves from getting distracted with the things that are around. And I did the 72-hour fast multiple times, where I remember I stopped short, I think at 50 something hours, 56 and 54 hours before I was able to get 72 two times. It was because my body, like you talks to you, like you hear, like you go, like, eat, you need to eat. And then, like, I remember one time I was driving home, I went bowling, and to keep myself busy with a buddy. And on the way home, I felt like I was getting lightheaded because I shouldn't have went bowling. We bowled like 4 or 5 games. And like, so like that activity on top of fasting, I think it made me, and like I was driving and I still had a ways to go to get home. I go, okay, I'm not going to chance this because I've never gone into these deep waters yet. And I stopped and went and got sushi, and I felt like $1 million afterwards on that. But that's why you got to listen to yourself and know your body, and you make it. You push it, but you don't at times. You got to listen. Yes, you could drink black coffee during a fast. You could absolutely have coffee during a fast. And there might be some people that tell you don't, but like a lot of the fasting experts say, anything like the Wake Up Unlimited Energy or pre-workout, which, thank you for all the great reviews on the supplements on Amazon, by the way. That's the Wake Up Unlimited Energy, man. I love the taste of that stuff. And if you don't have stevia, some people might not like the taste. Most people that have stevia love it because it does taste different than aspartame and sucralose with that. And it's also way better for you. Also, and the energy is so much cleaner and lasts longer than the other pre-workouts with all of that. But like that stuff is safe. It's calorie free. It doesn't cause an insulin spike or response, whereas artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose do. So a lot of fasting experts will say don't drink diet soda or Bang energy drinks or Monster energy drinks or Red Bull, sugar-free Red Bulls, because those will cause an insulin reaction, which technically breaks the fast with all of that. And so you want to avoid that. You want to avoid that while you're fasting. But things like water, teas, like unsweetened tea, green tea, matcha green tea, whatever it may be, mint tea, things like that are calorie free. You can have. I'm having a little bit of tea in a cold water bottle right now, and a little decaf coffee. Things like that are fine. Like the Zevia sodas with the stevia, 1 or 2 of those, and a lot of water. A lot of water. Is your dad a big size guy like you? Was he similar in your size when he was in his prime? No. My dad's not a small guy by any means. My dad's right around 6 feet tall, and I'm 6'2". But he's not nearly as muscular. He's never been. He goes to the gym a few times a week now, but he's never been like a. I don't know. I got that side from my mom. My mom was more fitness oriented when we were growing up, and I would see her working out, which is what I started working out. And my dad would like go mess around in the garage. He'd have some garage weights, but he never was like, he was never that serious about it, and any of that. So I've kind of taken on my own identity from my family in that, and my love and passion of health and fitness. Fitness. My mom's always been healthy. My mom's always been, and that's where I learned like herbs, and I kind of got that from my mom's side. Thank you for the kind words saying you love me. Thank you very much. Trying to see here. If you're trying to, you want any tips for increasing weights in the gym without increasing your chance of injury, I would check out my Feed Me More maximum size and strength program over on feedmemore.com. It is a great, great program. And I'm telling you, you will learn a lot from it and use it and apply that. And I promise you, you're going to get results. And but I'm very, very big in the 4 to 6 rep range. And I cycle through that. I'm very big into anywhere from the 8 to 12 reps, 10 to 12 reps. In the 4 to 6 in cycling. The 4 to 6 rep range, though, always yields the biggest results for drug-free people trying to get as big and strong as possible. Even if you're on drugs, the 4 to 6 rep range it will increase your results drastically if done correctly and warming up appropriately. And it's not doing, when you're doing weights and you start getting into certain things where you're not warming up properly and you're maxing out and when you shouldn't be, that's where the risk for injury can come in. And you got to know what you're training for, and you got to ask yourself, do I need to be doing this all the time? And it's the other thing too, if you train heavy all the time, you got to give your body a break and give yourself rest. And that's why I'm big on taking a week off every 3, 4, 5 months. Just give yourself a week or 2 off. Even 2 weeks is fine, but stay active. You get to go do cardio here and there. Stay moving. Don't let your diet go, but let your body just rest. Such a big thing. And so many people don't. We all get in the habit, and I've been guilty of, you just go. And it's you eventually hit a wall. How do I deal with bullies? Shell shock them. It's a difficult, it depends on the situation. I don't know how to, it's different for everybody. I've always been very physical, and I've always been able to take care of myself. Nobody ever picked on me my entire life. So I don't really, I need to know the situation. I could just tell you what I would do in that particular situation. As far as I understand, there's a lot of people that do get bullied that are not confrontational. They're not able to maybe to defend themselves physically. And that's where I think you have to be very proactive in taking the correct steps to ensuring you get distance away from those bullies and get away from them as quickly as possible. And it depends on the scenario and what if it's school and in the same classroom, people need to be made aware of that to keep the distance. Distance solves problems like that. And so the goal is, how can we create some distance? Derek the Oil Boy back at the Ryback Show. I really want to oil up David Otunga and Rey Mysterio and John Cena down with baby oil. Derek never cease to disappoint on the Ryback Show. Your desires seem to be growing more and more. I don't feel comfortable. I don't think I would be able to give you a referral to WWE or AEW as an oil boy, Derek, knowing I think how much, you're passionate about it. So it's not, but I think you would have fit in with the old WWE under the things going on right now with the investigation. I think you probably would have been heavily involved in that. And there probably would have been a few NDAs having to be signed because of you. But I think now with the way things or the business is changing and moving forward, that there's probably not room for you, Derek, in that company. And rightfully so. Hello. I mentioned clean energy. What is unclean energy? Unclean energy. Unclean energy. So the energy you get from like the Wake Up Unlimited energy with the caffeine, but the Asian ginseng provides it's like it hits in stages. And then the yohimbine that we use as well, and then the B vitamins, and a mega dose of the B vitamins, so this stuff all hits at different times. And that's what I found when I created this, because oftentimes a lot of the other companies, what they'll do, they put the other ingredients in that hit, all at once. And then so you get this huge surge of like jittery, crazy energy. And then an hour later, you feel absolutely horrible. That's unclean energy. And if you know, you know. And that was something I avoid. Like certain supplements, they make you feel like you're completely like just cracked out, and you're like, oh my god, and then like shut down. Whereas the Wake Up Unlimited Energy, you feel this surge of energy, and then it just kind of just gradually increases, and then it gradually decreases over time, and it lasts a lot longer. So it's hard to explain. It's like you would have to try it and experience it to know. And I always tell people to start with half a scoop because it is very powerful. And a lot of people, you can make a tub of Wake Up Unlimited Energy last for 60 days rather than 30. And we give you the full 30 servings on that as well. But that, like some companies, like they don't, I don't know how, where they don't actually give you the servings that they say with that. But it's, I stand behind everything that we do. I believe we have the cleanest supplements, and they're third-party tested, and I try to give you guys the absolute best, which I'm actually getting ready to put in an order for the vanilla mocha ISO hungry plant-powered protein. So I'm excited to get that out. Did I miss a super chat? Tyler, again, back. Thank you, Tyler. Shugru, another great live chat. Can't wait to see you the next time, big guy. Got my notifications on. Haha. Thank you very much, buddy. And we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up today's got my carb day, and I've got to do a big training session and get a bunch more work done with Feed Me More Nutrition coming up with everything. So it's always greatly appreciated to have you guys here, and I appreciate the love and support and for standing by despite all of this stuff going on the last 6 years. And like I said before, the truth is going to win, and just got to continue to stay #hungry and stay true. And the truth is going to win at the end of the day. And as always, please check out my Feed Me More Nutrition supplement line and the Feed Me More merchandise, the Ryback merchandise. So blah, 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 blah. The Ryback merch, everything over on feedmemore.com. We've got a bunch of new designs and shirts. I'm still waiting. They're supposed to be getting the new website over to me to approve. I'm still waiting to hear back. And but you can check all that out over on feedmemore.com and save 20% with discount code RYBACKSHOW20, RYBACKSHOW20. And don't forget, iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated for the podcast as well. Stay hungry, my friends. And until next time, feed me more.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications for the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch. Visit feedmemore.com.